Hi, those man, Justin Von Doom, doing great. It's our friend Wes. This is with session 15 within Mist and Shadows, as we last left off. Evan, who was stuck in playing in character, did not yell for help. And him and Wes were ambushed by this insectoid spider-like assassin, and after a long chase were webbed up and captured. So we're going to start off with We're going to start off with Wes's character Garrot first. Okay, so the webbing bundles you tight, sticking to your armor and clothes like a second skin. Every minute this creature bites into your arm, injecting venom and keeping you motionless. The scraping of claws on something solid rings in your ears. Soon as replaced by the howling of the wind, and it quickly turns cold. Moonlight sneaks through the strands, bouncing up and down, side to side, never stops. Eventually, the well of the wind gives way to the screeching of claws. Darkness chases away what little light you had. Not only are you stuck to this sticky webbing, but so is the cold from the beating wind. Your teeth begin to chatter. Seems like hours pass and a familiar smell fills your lungs. The smell of rot, the scent of the dead. It grows stronger as the minutes pass. You remember when this was inviting, like a lover's perfume, but you quickly realize this is not the case. You begin to think your faith has finally caught up to you. What you have held high for all these years will finally wash over you. The bouncing begins again, this time more pronounced, like a child bouncing a ball on a string. It's nauseating. Time seems to be creeping. You hear the crackling of fire and the pilfer moans of a woman. As you free fall and quickly hit the ground with a soft thud and bounce, you hear it speak in a hissing tone. Its S's are long and pronounced. Soon, my child, very soon. A woman quietly mumbles and sobs. No, 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 please, no.
I start praying and keep my thoughts to the dark way.
In a teasing voice, you hear the creature again. Its laughter is a broken hiss. No, 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 my babies. He's of importance, is what you hear. You lie motionless, praying to the lady, praying for the power to overcome this. Then you hear a scream. A sound so primal and full of rage your heart skips a beat. You realize it's Lee. Hope fills your heart. Your mind teases images of escape. Like how I played this up when we did this online.
With it, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, so you can follow your own as I'm doing his while we're in this section.
I'll waver a bit in my prayers, but renew my praying more vigorously.
You hold your prayers to your heart, hoping your faith lasts out. You hear him. Now aren't we a feisty wolf? He says mockingly. You hear a hard thud, and Lee's screams continue, louder. Another hard thud. His rage makes your blood boil. You begin to feel tingling in your toes, movement slowly returning.
I'll pray even harder, keeping the image of the lady and the calling of the scythe in my mind.
The women, you can't make out their number, begin screaming wildly, fearfully, as their life was coming to an end. Shush, my pretties. The boy just needs his medicine, is what it replies to the screaming. You begin to shake violently in your cocoon, small tremors rippling from every direction. Lee roars like that of a beast from the darkest depths. You can feel your blood flow. Warmth washes over you. You realize you can move your arms and legs, but there's a strong resistance, the web sticking to you like a drunk lover.
I'll keep praying and reach for my dagger.
It's worthless. The tremors worsen. Something brushes up against your skin. You feel it crawling up your armor. Lee's screams of rebellion turn into those of agonizing pain. As quickly as they came, all goes silent. You feel the tickling brush of your arm, followed by your leg, stomach. More and more you feel it everywhere, like the webbing, like another layer of skin. Then you see it. A spider crawls into view of your left eye. The pain floods your senses like a storm. You try to hold the screams inside. Try to be strong for your faith, for the dark lady, but you fail. You scream as hundreds of tiny knives pierce you. The venom flows through your veins. The women scream with you, and then all goes black. Please do not say, this sucks.
I wasn't going to. I was reading ahead just to.
Yeah, okay. Okay, let's see where I'm at. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Want me to cover this for you? Catch us up here.
Yeah.
In your mind, through the blackness, you keep praying to the Dark Lady, and you see her. There's no tiny skeletons or any orbs of color. She wails as a wave of tiny purple and black spiders swarm over her, and she goes silent.
I keep praying to the Dark Lady, lending her the faith I have to help us overcome what comes next.
You're not sure what the passage of time has been, but you feel weak. Your vision is blurry. The air smells acrid. The floor below you is riddled with holes and scorched. It takes all the strength you can to muster to raise your head. A well-dressed man stands some distance before you. He smiles. His eyes shimmer crimson. Good, you're awake, young lad. Care to tell me your name? Behind him stands a beautiful woman with jet black hair pulled into a neatly tight ponytail. Purple streaks run through it. She wears a beautiful gown of emerald green trimmed with fine gold jewelry.
I'll keep my mouth shut and just do a blank stare at him.
Your vision begins to focus. You make out an elf with neatly cut, short brown hair. His crimson eyes reveal a calm but dangerous attitude. Unlike most elves you've come across, his soft, angular features have a hard edge to them. The lady in the evening gown is human, with the most beautiful set of green eyes you have ever seen. Her skin is pale as the moon. She smiles and narrows her eyes in your direction. This one must think he will be hard to crack. That's what his friend thought also. She giggled softly.
I take it you two were responsible for that creature? What friend are you referring to?
The lovely lady smiles wickedly and points to your left. Lee, what you can make out of him, is shackled to a chair much like yourself. Most of his armor and clothing is burnt or melted away. His skin is horribly charred and blistered. His body barely smolders as if the wounds were inflicted not too long ago. He kept rambling on about being weak and a coward, that he failed as God. Believe me, this has nothing to do with the divine.
That is nothing new. He has been rambling on about failing his God. You must be members of the Eye of the Arcane.
The elf pulls something out of his pocket. I don't know what I said you had. Oh, yeah, your pocket. Your holy symbol. He swings it back and forth. Watching it is hypnotizing. You're drawn to it. You've had it on for so long, it's as if a part of you is now missing. Yes, I am, he replies. I created the eye many decades ago, young sir. It's almost as old as your collapsing cult. Your stomach lurches and bubbles. You feel the bile rush up your throat. Vomit and blood fills your lap. Your mind goes into a spiral. Ah, says the striking young elf, I see the poison is almost finishing its course.
My cult is old indeed. You sound like you know a few things about us.
He walks towards you, confident in every step. He crouches below you, looks you in the eyes that show hundreds of years of knowing. Yes, I know very much about we who whisper woes, this cult that you've chosen. I know why you were chosen by Roth as well. Do you? He smirks and gives you a mocking wink.
I feel honored that the enemy knows so much about me.
The enemy needs a drink of water. The elf raises his eyebrows as if amused. As he speaks, you see a pair of fangs shine in the candlelight. You misunderstand, he says, and waves his hand. I know you to be his chosen. I know your station in the cult. You have benefited from it quite nicely, yes. But you personally, I do not know, though I would like to. It would make this pauses and nods towards the damaged shell of a person who is lead to the left. easier. So I'll ask you once more, lad. What is your name?
You know me to be his chosen, but yet your informant couldn't get my name?
He chuckles, amused again by your defiance. A smile spreads across his face. Again, you misunderstand. I was never looking for you particularly. Well, that would be a lie until recently. Forgive me. Though my heart was broke, I will gladly exchange one life for another. Maybe this will coax it out of you. He holds the necklace out, the symbol of your faith, and places it around your neck. You receive a soft pat on the head. There, a token of good faith. Friends, he asked, and he smiles.
Friends with you? Until recently.
He raises his hand as to slow you down. Now, that's not how this game goes. Questions get answers and we take turns, you see. You just rudely asked out of turn, but as a friend, I'll let it slide. Though you did not answer mine first, I will gladly answer yours. Which question would you like an answer to? Friends? Or until recently, sir?
Until recently.
He closes his hands over his hardened features and takes a deep breath to calm himself. The hand never leaves his face. His voice is deep and full of sorrow. You destroyed my daughter Soji a few weeks back while in Corvosa. And I admit, she was brash and arrogant, showing you her insignia. Her death was her own fault. She should have been wiser and just followed you along. But at your age, surely you don't know. Children can be quite a pain. He rubs his hands over his face and down his chin, and then holds them out, as he does the other, as to sympathize with you. He would have made all this very, very unnecessary. My apologies.
Well, she did not show her insignia first. She tapped me on sight of seeing mine. It was sad that she had to die. She was such a beautiful person.
He shrugs as if it doesn't matter. Such things happen during bitter rivalries. Now, if you may, answer my question.
I was recruited because I was touched by Lady Death herself.
He purses his lips, as if digesting your information. Pauses for a while, thinks about it. Who is this lady you speak of?
You know, death itself, in its truest form.
The elf looks at you confused at first, then quickly smirks. So you worship Pharasma. The Lady of Graves has no such holy symbol as yours. You're lying.
You misunderstood, good sir. I was touched by undeath in my life. I do acknowledge her as a great goddess.
Good sir. My guy's supposed to be the wise ass here. He looks at you. He looks at you skeptical. You can tell he doesn't believe you. Please elaborate on this. Touched by undeath. Fulfill my curiosity. He looks at you knowingly. Garrot. Gives you a playful wink.
I thought you knew why Roth brought me in.
Him and the lady in the evening gown look at each other and break out in laughter. After a few brief moments of laughter, he replies, "You poor boy, no clue what you've gotten yourself into. No idea of your true destiny there." They begin to laugh again. You cough in their face.
Yeah.
The flu.
Then maybe you would indulge me.
He shakes his head in a surprise you don't know. The lady in green gown approaches and places her hands on his shoulder. I don't think he has revealed enough information for that. Besides, I'm not getting to have any fun here. She gives him a playful pouty face, as if saying please.
I take it she's not liking our little conversation?
She mean mugs you. Stares at you hard. The elf laughs at her. I'm afraid not, my friend. She thoroughly enjoys her duties down here. This is going better than I expected. So let's continue, shall we?
By all means, if you wish.
Well, that is up to you. We're both trading information, sir. The better intel from you, the better from myself.
At least let me know who I'm talking to, since I'm clearly at a disadvantage. You know my name.
He nods in agreement. He stands and gives a bow. I'm Varlus, Lord of Velthanine Manor, my home. And he kind of does one of these to show you everything around you. High-ranking member of the Order of Ciphers. Grand graduate at the Academy in Corvosa. Once the rival of Ravel and Silvari. But most importantly to you, he takes another deep bow, the one who brought the killing stroke to your grandfather, highest priest of the cult. The lady stands behind him, appalling every title.
That is an impressive deed.
Bows once more. Many thanks, sir. He was difficult to find over the decades. It was even more troublesome to defeat him like the old days. When he says that, he kind of looks off in the distance as remembering old memories. Much pleasure flowed through me as he threw his hands up, trying to stop the killing blow of the phantom wind. He pats the scimitar proudly at his side, remembering another triumphant moment. My revenge was nearly complete, with Ganir being there. Now only 4 remain. Pauses and smiles and points at you, unless you tell me where to find Rolf.
And this is where your lady gets to have her fun. While it was nice chatting with you, I cannot do that.
He smiles and shakes his head. You really are loyal to a fault. Too bad Rolf will never reward that.
And how would you reward me?
Now at this time, are you curious about what Teddy has to say?
Yeah, I kind of am.
He looks at you with the most serious expression. That is a risk you most definitely have to take. He nods over to Lee's. His corpse still barely smoldering. An evil smile crosses his face. That one thought he could be angry with my lady friend, and it cost him his pathetic life. During his slow and agonizing death, he cannot shut up about failing in his God's eyes. He offered us nothing. Imagine what he went through, and he was not even a brother of yours. You could offer us everything. We could reward you with much more.
Well, my friend does look like he went through much pain and suffering.
And then he exploded as I took his head. I don't even believe him dead, but if I can kill the Highfathers, it'll make this destruction easier the 3rd time. Points at you and gives you a nod. That's where you come in.
If you want me to check and make sure Lee is dead, I can surely do that.
The lady in green laughs. I can assure you that he is quite dead, young sir. She walks over to where Lee's corpse is chained to a chair, much like yourself. She taps him on the cheeks a few times to see if he's awake and breathing. She shrugs her shoulders, says it does not matter, and punches him in the bridge of the nose, taking the front of his skull as her gore-filled hand explodes out the back of his head. She looks at you and kind of smiles. See?
Yep, he's dead.
She gives you a curtsy with a smile. Trust me, I know when my pets are gone. Varlus snaps his fingers to gather your attention back to him. He looks dead serious. Believe me when I say that I do not want this for you, Garrot. A fate far worse than that is waiting for you from Rolf.
Really? What kind of fate does Rolf have in store for me?
First you have to tell me where he's hiding. You give up the most important piece of information you have, and I'll reveal mine to you. It's the perfect way to start building trust towards your new future. He motions with his head towards the green lady. She approaches once again with a pouty face, then turns to you. Please make him regret this decision, I beg you, she says with a mocking tone. With one arm, she grabs the back of the chair and lifts you as high as possible. Then the other hand grabs the chain and pulls them, breaking them with one hand. The force of the chain snapping ripples through your body. The pain is almost unbearable. Her strength amazes you. Lord Varlas smiles and nods his approval. There's a good start to trust, wouldn't you say?
I will need to know what you would have me do within your organization before I tell you about the High Father. For when I do, I will not have a home to go back to.
He shakes his head and wags his finger. No, it's not true. I don't want to destroy your home, or even your family for that matter. I just want Roth. Tell me you would love nothing more to take his spot. He's only groomed you for such a thing, am I correct? He smiles wickedly like he knows something you do not.
He has groomed me to take a spot equal to his, but what if I want one higher than his?
Curiously, he raises an eyebrow. Oh, it's quite more, how should I say, lets it roll off his tongue, complicated than that.
Isn't it always? Everything in it is complicated in life.
Not really. I'm sure your time and that bad excuse for an occult wasn't complicated. You could have everything you dreamed of, right? Women throwing themselves at you, a sense of power, seeing how Rolf took you under his wing. I imagine that was nice when you had that. He kind of looks around at the dark dungeon around you. Towards Lee's body, who's practically missing a head.
Life before the cult was complicated for me.
He holds out his hands as if it doesn't matter. And all that has brought you to this moment. A decision that will change your life in one way or another. Live as a king or remain a slave. Choose wisely when he looks at you.
But which one would be which? With my home or within the enemy? What has started this war between our groups?
Jealousy, hatred, murder. You know, you murdered my daughter.
And self-defense. But because of what? Because of whom?
This is not how this is played. You're asking too many questions with not giving answers. His tone grows grim.
Well, you have quite the advantage over myself. Seems like I am very misinformed.
He laughs. Obviously. Otherwise you'd not be in this situation. Have you ever asked yourself, what's with all the secrecy of your home? Why hide from the world?
We are dealing with the death aspect of the life.
Those who worship Pharasma do as well, and they don't hide.
They are well known. We are not.
And why is that?
Keep it small and keep it unknown.
What makes you believe that, he questions. How can a handful of fanatics be the only ones who have a religion when gods have been around before dated history?
I only worship the undead myself.
Then he looks at you skeptically. Then why not worship me? Surely by now you realize what I am.
I have. That is the only reason why I'm talking to you.
He shakes his head. No, I disagree. The only reason you're talking to me is because I've captured you. You would have attacked me in any other situation that was not on my terms. That's why I baited you with my cantrips before my assassin spider snatched you up. He shakes his head. I knew you would have defeated those three, but I was confident the assassin would be successful. And he nods his head in approval.
He is quite a creation.
He smiles. With my allies and myself, such things are possible. Under Roth, you will never know such sciences exist.
Sciences or spells?
We here study the arcane, but I know some that study the divine, like yourself. It's possible we could use someone to teach the divine here in our manor, within our organization.
They have no direction?
Not necessarily. We don't ever bother with the divine within the eye. Our allies study magic of the gods. But we can make room within our organization for perhaps a teacher.
Are you offering?
Are you offering to show me where Roth is hiding? The lady in the gown is growing very agitated.
Depends on if you're offering me a spot within your organization or not.
She says, please, Lord Barless, let me into him. He turns around and yells at her, silence! And she shies away very quickly. He turns to you. I offered you a spot in my dungeon. You're alive. So if you think this has to do with your disadvantage, just give me the location. It's all I ask.
Alive or dead doesn't matter to me. I just want to continue with what I do.
And what is that?
To worship the dead and become strong enough to raise the dead myself.
Why would we stop you?
I'm the enemy.
And he says, so be it. The enemy, the enemy. The lady, beautiful lady, in the emerald green ground approaches you slowly. You're very hypnotized by the way she looks. You cannot keep your eyes off of her. You not even realize that Barless behind her has vanished. The next thing you know, powerful arms wrap around you, and he tells you one way or another, I'll get my information. And he buries his fangs into your neck. And you scream, and she smiles and laughs. You can't fight him off. He's too powerful. You feel your life drain from you. You feel the blood falling from your neck, tickling you. It's warm. Your vision grows blurry, and all goes black.
Boom, boom, boom.
Now, we've played this over the last session, and we kind of really wanted to do this because it's very, very important, because it is the end of Garrett's character, who has really played very loyal to his cult, and I really tried to get him to crack while we were doing this, and he would just not budge. So, Wesley, I'm very, very proud of you. Now, on to Lee. So I can kill some more people. Lee, you were also captured by this creature. Much like Wesley, yours starts out the same. The webbing bundles you tied, sticking to your armor and clothes like a second skin. Every minute this creature bites your arm, injecting venom and keeping you motionless. The scraping of claws on something solid rings in your ears. With every scrape, you hear the Ripper. Weak. Echoes through your head. Soon it's replaced by the howling of the wind, and it quickly turns cold. Moonlight sneaks through the strands. The bouncing up and down, side to side, never stops. Eventually the wail of the wind gives way to the screeching of claws. Again you hear him, mocking you. Weak. Darkness chases away what little light you had. Not only are you stuck to this sticky webbing, but so is the cold from the beating wind. Your teeth begin to chatter. What seems like hours pass and a familiar smell fills your lungs. The smell of rot, the scent of the dead. It grows stronger as the minutes pass. Images of the Ripper's female victims dance in your head. The smell of iron from their blood fills your nostrils. The mocking continues. Coward. The bouncing begins again, this time more pronounced, like a child bouncing a ball on a string. It's nauseating. Time seems to be creeping. You hear the crackling of fire and the filthy moans of women as you free fall and quickly hit the ground with a soft thud and bounce. You hear it in its hissing tone, its S long and pronounced. Soon, my child, very soon. A woman mumbles and sobs. No, 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 please, no. It's teasing, in a teasing voice, you hear the creature again. I kind of skipped over what he said. Its laughter is a broken hiss. Oh no, my babies, he's of importance. You hear the Ripper in your head, mocking you, weak, coward. The Butcher of the Robes flashes through your mind. Your blood boils. Warmth floods your limbs. Movement returns. A primal fury fills your heart. You scream like a wild beast who has freed himself from his cage and his master.
This rivalry mine's.
Yeah.
Mine's a little different than his.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I try to bust free using all my strength. I'm letting everything that.
Hey, message, Kyle. Go ahead. When he gets here, tell him to hold up.
Okay.
I'll start over. I try free with all my strength to bust free, letting everything the Ripper's ever done to me and fuel my rage as I try to break.
Now, aren't we a feisty one? He says mockingly. Something heavy lands a blow in your stomach. You roar again and again. The pounding continues against your body. The women, you can't make out their number, begin screaming wildly, fearfully, as if their lives are coming to an end. Shush, my pretties. The boy needs his medicine. You begin to shake violently in your cocoon, small tremors rippling from every direction. You roar like a beast from the darkest depths.
I keep thinking of what the Ripper did to me over the years. I want to become more. I need to become more. I'm terrified, but at the same time I grow thirsty for the creature's blood at my hand. And I try more strength.
Like I said, over the years, and it's only been like 5 months.
I'm trying to add to it.
Well, no, but just years was just the wrong thing there. But anyways, the tremors worsen. Something brushes up against your skin. You feel it crawling up your armor. You feel the tickling brush of something on your arm, followed by your leg, then on your stomach. More and more you feel it everywhere, like the webbing, like another layer of skin. Then you see it. The spider crawls in view of your right eye. The pain floods your senses like a storm. Your roar of defiance turns to that of agonizing pain as hundreds of tiny knives pierce you. The venom flows through your veins. The women scream with you. All goes black. How terrified are you now?
Very terrified until I passed out.
Your thoughts ring out. Coward. Weak. You couldn't even break free. The Ripper stands before you, and you tell him that you failed him again. You're not sure how much time has passed, but you feel weak. Your vision is blurry. The air smells acrid around you. The floor below you is riddled with holes and is scorched. It takes all the strength you can muster to raise your head. Before you stands a beautiful woman with jet black hair pulled into a neatly tight ponytail. Purple streaks run through it. She wears a beautiful gown of emerald green trimmed with fine gold jewelry. She comes up and pulls your chin up. Wake up, my pet.
I try to get up, shakingly, trying to stand.
You can't, because you find yourself chained to a chair. You muster all the strength you can to raise your head. She's breathtaking, more beautiful than any woman you have seen at the silken veil. You can't help but look into her piercing green eyes. There you go, my love. She caresses your face with her hand. What is your name?
I'm Lee. Where am I?
She looks around as if curious to what's around you both. She smiles. Where is not important, but why is a more pressing matter. You can make this easy, which would be no fun whatsoever. But I've been ordered to make it an option. Or we can do this the hard way. And she smiles, which I can promise will be very, very memorable.
I look at her in my weakened state. Whatever's best for you. I've been nothing but a failure. And everybody else knows it. My God included.
The lady points her finger at you and shakes it as if scolding you. That may be true. The spider said you were tough and a fast one. You cannot avoid you, which says much about your physical abilities. She looks you over and sees your scrawny, frail body. But those seem not to fail you.
My abilities have always just got me by in life. Self-training can only take you so far. I started as a street rat, cheat and steal to make it. I started to turn myself into something more, but I fell way short of that goal somehow down the road, and it landed me here.
She giggles.
Start to look around.
Life is full of lessons to be taught and those to be learned through self. She taps herself on the lips. Maybe this is all a lesson that will be worth gaining in the end. Maybe not, as if it doesn't matter.
What is it that you need? Maybe I do have something left to give. If I do, I'm going to have to dig deep. And it starts by getting these damn voices out of my head.
She taps her lips again and questions that thought for a moment or two. Her eyes light up as if she's had an idea. You give me what I want, and in return, I'll help you achieve what you need. Do we have a deal?
I sit there, I think about it for a long while, letting everything run through my mind. In the beginning, I wanted to gain coin and get away from this place. In the weeks after, I turned into a monster. I embraced it, but failing in the end. Maybe this can be my rebirth. It's this or death, and I choose this. I look into the beautiful woman's eyes, and I say, deal.
She smiles wickedly. That will please Lord Barris and myself. Now tell me, my pet. She rubs underneath your chin again. What do you know about your friend we've captured and his little cult?
Kind of go back and forth. They like to hide in the shadows. They say there's a war in the streets every night.
She laughs at that, as if it's a war to them.
Looks to be multiple parties involved. People I don't know. The cult seems to answer to someone named the High Father.
She scoffs at that name.
The High Father seems to use everybody else to do his work. As far as Garrot, not sure his involvement, but he would make a way better leader than the High Father's character. He's weak and frail and had others do his work.
Just so you know, I like doing this with you guys at the same time. I'm thinking, oh God.
I didn't say he was bad. I tried to say you need to be in charge.
Garrot is his name. She ponders the thought for a moment. Well, thank you. My lord will be pleased at that. Now this High Father, he is who we seek. Do you know where he stays? Do you know where he hides from us?
not sure. I was with Garrett when I went there once.
When you went there once? You've never been there.
Well, I've never been there, but
Yeah.
I know where it's located. I've never been in there. That's what I meant. I said, did not even know Garrett was part of the cult then.
A door creaks open in the darkness somewhere near her. As the portal closes, you hear the shriek of the latch being locked. It echoes through the darkness. The clunking of metal as a key turns the bolt. Heavy breathing comes from the blackness. Your mind spins. From the darkness you see large, powerful hands reach for the lady in green. Those of the Ripper. His voice echoes through the chamber. Coward. She seems to not know that he's there. What of your other two comrades? The orcs. Were they involved with this cult as well? The footsteps behind her are heavy. She holds up her hands to halt whoever is behind her. They remain unseen, but the deep breathing remains.
I start to get terrified. I begin to shake. See, I almost can't get it out. The orcs, they stay to themselves. Warnock seeks his own power source.
You see the breath coming from the darkness behind her. You close your eyes, hoping for it to go away, wishing it wasn't him. The breathing intensifies. All you hear is it, and the cringing sounds of flesh being ripped. Your eyes open. The beautiful lady is on the floor, gown spliced open, neatly laid open. From crotch to chest, she is cleanly opened up. The warmth from breath rose from the shadows. She tilts her head forward and speaks. As she does, blood flows from the corners of her ruby lips. Which is Ornock? What is this power that he seeks?
Warnock he's an orc. He wants to become the most powerful orc in the city. He will do whatever it takes to get there, and I believe he can.
Your mind spins as the heavy breathing of the Ripper behind her intensifies. The giant hands come from the darkness, slowly and gently rubbing his hands over her disemboweled body like a lover would. She seems not to notice as she continues to speak. Throughout the chamber, you hear his words echo. Weak. Does this Ornock know the cult?
I'm shaking violently right now, scared, but wanting to progress. Say, I don't believe so. He runs with the orcs in town. They take orders from the fat one. He's their leader.
She looks at you strangely, as if maybe she realizes something's wrong with you. She looks very curious at it. She continues to speak. Yes, I know of Crow, disgusting and foul creature that he is. Blood still seeps from the corners of her mouth. Does this Ornock, your friend, does he want to overthrow Crow?
I believe so. Warnock always wants to run things. He would be good for this town. He may be an orc, but he's very smart. There's a few orcs that want Croak out of power. Not sure, but Croak don't run this city by himself. But not sure who he partners with. He'll find out.
You blink your eyes as you respond. And as you open them, your god stands before you. His breath reeks of rot. It's hotter than any fire your skin has felt. His eyes are bloodshot, like those of a drunk. God stares deeply into your eyes. You are weak, a worthless coward. The pit itself will reject you. You continue to prove nothing to me. You are broke, a discarded tool to me. Chaos and fear will teach you.
In an angry voice, I shout, I'm not a coward. Fear is nothing to me. I would use chaos and fear to teach all those in front of me what true chaos is. I may not be the Ripper, but this path of destruction does not stop here. I have much more chaos to unleash on this world. And that's what I'm going to do.
He grabs you by the throat, tearing the bolts holding your chair from the floor, and lifts you high in the air. Fear rushes you. Focused anger covers his face. You do not have enough destruction in your frail body to please me. You allow too much peace inside you to be a bringer of chaos. Your heart is too kind to those you meet. Strike fear in them. You are nothing.
I start to think to myself, I was nothing before all this started. I guess then I tapped out loud. I was nothing before all this started, but now I have changed things. One must walk before he runs. I am still weak, but in time I will gain strength, and people will fear me. If I don't, I will die a coward. I try to cut myself. I have failed the Ripper for the last time, and I must punish myself.
God takes his free hands and breaks the chains from you. He slams you to the floor, shattering the chain. From his armor he pulls forth a dagger and tosses it at your feet. Show me.
I reach down, I grab the dagger from the floor. I get up and I look around, I'm breathing heavy. Is there anyone else in the room? I start to look and think, and it's just me and the Ripper. So I stare into the dagger, and I stab myself. As I pull the dagger out, I scream, "Coward!" Stick myself again, and say, "Coward no more." I do this 3 or 4 times. I probably bring myself close to death as I can. If anybody else is walking in my path, I will kill them. This is my time to get the coward out of my body. So I just stab, stab, stab.
You lay in a pool of your own blood, aching from all the small punctures and slices on your body. God stands before you, smiling, satisfied. You are broke, on your last strings of life. You've destroyed yourself. Now rise. Become destruction itself. You begin to literally levitate off the floor to your feet. You smile. Finally, you've pleased him. You close your eyes, drifting in and out of consciousness. Your eyes dart open wildly all of a sudden. Calm of mind and empty of emotion. It's as if you were just born again. The lady in green stands before you with a strange and disgusting look covering her features. You are quite the strange individual.
I stare back into the lady's eyes. So we're finished here? With a wicked grin on my face, I say. Where to next?
She returns a smile equally as wicked. Help us hunt down this cult. Bring us the Father, Roth, and your Lord Varlus will be pleased with you. He will reward you greatly.
I return the look. I would gladly bring you his head. I will please your Lord, my Lord Varlus, and then I will please you. And I laugh wickedly.
She looks at you curiously and slowly approaches. And please me? She questions. How?
I am your pet. You say I act. I'm sure you can have fun with that. First I got work to do. I grip my dagger